Okay, today I'm going to show you how I wrap my artworks for sending them through the postal system. And the work that I'm going to be wrapping is this one, which is called Two Tails Bath Time. It's an acrylic and chalk pastel work that I recently sold on eBay, so I'm going to be packing that ready to send. Firstly, if you are selling artwork on eBay or similar auction sites and you know you're going to be sending them through the post, then you should be creating your works onto this type of canvas that has a wooden frame on it, as opposed to this kind of cardboard based canvas. Obviously the wooden frame makes your artwork stronger, and this actual frame will mean that you'll need less packing material to protect your artwork, because it will actually do most of the work in keeping the face of the artwork flat and protected, which is really what you're trying to do with your packing. It's just trying to protect this part of the artwork and perhaps the corners. With the wooden frame, you'll see that it can take quite a bit of weight and it won't bend. So you see that. And that's pretty sturdy for going through the postal system. The only thing you have to be careful of is the middle part of the painting, which if you perhaps got some weight on that, you could push it in and sort of bend it. But it really depends on how far you're shipping your artworks as to how much packing you do, because the more protection and wrapping and layers you put on this, the heavier it'll be, and the more expensive sending it through the post will become. What I do is I protect my artworks using recycled cardboard. You can use bubble wrap if you like, but I think it's a bit of an overkill, and you actually have to buy bubble wrap unless you can get your hands on a supplier who's prepared to give it to you for free. But I found bubble wrap adds to the cost of packing, and you really don't want to be doing that too much. So getting back to wrapping this, if you're sending it only a short distance, then you should be able to start wrapping it as is. If you're worried about perhaps sending it overseas and you want to make sure that no weight pushes in this front bit, what you can do is make a cardboard setup like this, and before you actually start wrapping, you just place your piece of card in the back of the artwork like so, and then you make a X kind of thing out of two strips of corrugated card. They just slot together, so that's two strips with a cut in the middle. Place that into the back of your artwork like so, and those cross pieces there should be pretty level with the wood when it's sitting flat, and then all you do is put a bit of tape over that just to hold it in place, and what that'll do is provide a bit of support for the face of your artwork. Should it get any weight on this side, it will help stop the canvas from being pushed in. So that's what you can do there, and it's fairly lightweight and won't add too much to your postage costs. However, moving on to this artwork, I'm sending this artwork only interstate to Canberra, which is in the Australian Capital Territory. I live in South Australia, and I'm fairly confident that this can sort of make it through the postal service without needing that extra padding in the back, so we'll get on to that. So the first thing I do is put in my inserts that I'm going to pack with this, and I use one of these plastic file sleeves. What I put in there is, you can see that, that's a certificate of authenticity. That basically gives you a bit of background about the work, and it's signed and dated by me, and just says that this is an original artwork that I created. And I sell those, include that certificate with all my artworks, and it's designed to be sold with the work whenever it's sold on and whatever. And I have a little insert here, which is, you can see that, caring for your artwork. Now, because my artworks are chalk and acrylic on canvas, and I send them unframed, obviously, to keep the price down, this instructs the person to, or advises them to frame the artwork behind glass for additional protection. Obviously, if I already had the work framed behind glass, it would be considerably more expensive to post, so that's why I don't do that. I want to keep the prices down, and even though I have sent glass through the post and it's been made it through to the other side without getting broken, it's not really advisable. And finally, as you can see, an invoice for the person who purchased it. So we put all that into the plastic sleeve, and the other thing which I have to put in there we go. You should do this with all your artworks. It's a little flyer just advertising my website and my artwork. If you can, you should put multiples of these in so that the person receiving the artwork has something they can give out to their friends and relatives to sort of spread the word about your art in whatever part of the country or world that you're sending it to. So once I've got all that in my file divider, I put that into the back of the work like so. And just get that the right way around. To the back of the work as such. And then with a staple gun I just use one staple to hold that in place. Like so. And now that's ready to be wrapped. Just put that up there. The next thing I do is I start by wrapping the artwork up in a layer of paper. Like so. This is a actual roll of paper that my partner purchased some years back. The quality of this paper is it's slightly heavier and thicker than your average printer paper that you buy. If you can get hold of something like this, it's very useful, but you could use brown paper, brown sort of wrapping paper that you can buy. I've just been fortunate enough to have this fairly huge roll of white paper, and it's lasted me for years so far. So next thing, so I've got that out, put my artwork in the centre, and I start wrapping. So, and this first layer is just to protect the artwork itself from the outer packaging. It's to stop it from scratching that front surface. Get yourself some packing tape and use proper packing tape. Don't use sellotape or masking tape, because this stuff sticks really well. And for this first layer, just use enough tape to hold the paper in place. You don't need to go overboard and sort of seal this all up, because once you get the packing around the outside of this, that will pretty much hold it closed. So if you sort of go crazy with the packing tape on this level, all you're doing is adding to the weight and adding to your postage costs. Now this is pretty much like gift wrapping. So, and a little tip for you, when you're doing these side bits, I've learned that rather than folding the sides down as you sometimes do when you're wrapping a gift, you actually fold them in from the middle so that you get these kind of triangles. Let's see if I can get that so that you can see what I'm talking about. You see the edge there, and you can see that it's got like a sort of triangle shape there, and the middle is folded down, so you've got a triangle on the top and the bottom's forming this sort of U shape. The reason why I do that is because, as you can see, those edge bits are holding themselves in quite without any help from me, and that makes it much easier to actually close the sides up without sort of trying to keep those edge bits down. Just getting the tape, and again you want just enough tape to hold it in place. You don't want to go overboard, so put that in the middle of the edge, push down on the top, and fold it up. Like so, in place. That's that side done. Go to the other side. So, see again, you can see that got that sort of triangle shape happening there. Hard to see. You see it on this back one. And they're just sort of holding themselves in place like that. Okay, so we just fold that down. Do on the other side. And again, just use enough tape to hold that in place. So there we go, that's my first layer of wrapping. The next stage is to build a cardboard box around this to protect it, and for that we'll have to move over to my studio floor.